Mike?
Yes, we can hear you. Okay, this story is called Communing. The day started out so perfect. Their dreams were finally coming true. They had put off the wedding twice. Today was finally the day. Or it would have been. Jade walked down the aisle and was the most beautiful woman Mark had ever seen. When she got to the altar, they grabbed each other's hands and looked deeply into each other's eyes. There were tears in every eye there. Those two deserved happiness at last. Just as the priest started to talk, the ground began to shake. At first it didn't seem that bad, but then things turned for the worse. The giant cross came loose. In a flash, it had fallen to the left, causing a domino effect with the pillars that surrounded the altar area. It was coming right for the reason she breathes, and Jade wasn't going to let him get hurt. Jade jumped at Mark and pushed him away just in time. He wasn't even bruised. She wasn't as lucky. Mark looked on in horror as his soul lay face down with a pillar on top of her. She was barely breathing. When the EMTs got there, Jade had already fallen asleep. The groom was hanging his head. How could this be happening? Jade was still alive. They rushed her to the hospital. 3 weeks later, Mark sat in his usual spot next to her bed. He knew she was going to wake up. He just knew. Out of nowhere, an ethereal music began. At first, it was low, but it got louder, so loud that Mark couldn't think. Just as suddenly as it began, it stopped. He looked up suddenly and couldn't believe his eyes. She was fighting for her life, and they let some random animal into her room. This was supposed to be an amazing hospital. It was the same dog he had been seeing all week, everywhere. What do you want? Nothing, but everything, the dog replied. Mark jumped up out of his seat. Had that dog really spoken? It had been following him relentlessly. Mark was even sure he saw it in his bathroom. What do you mean? Mark asked tentatively. In this moment, I am satisfied just to be having this conversation with you. Watching you grieving has assuaged the emptiness for now, but when it comes back, I will need more. What are you? Emptiness? How dare you use my sorrow as entertainment? I am me. I've been alive for millennia. This is my first time on your home. Earth is but a speck of dust on the grand piano that is the universe. Mark couldn't get his head around what was happening. Was he really speaking to an ancient creature from out there? Was his grief special? What would it do to him when he was no longer amusing? The dog looked at him sadly. It seemed like it had read every thought Mark had just had. When you are ready, I'll be back, and I won't be alone. Accept this gift. It wagged its tail and was gone. Mark, Jade whispered.
That's what you named it? It's
So-
the name of your story.
Tell everybody where they can find you.
Talking dog.
I'm at Hypnotic Sam on Instagram. Hypnotic spelled like drink, HPNOTIQ, Sam. That's my name on almost everything.
All right. Please give it up for Samantha. Try this one more time. You know I'm deaf. I'm old. Okay? Please give it up for Samantha.